Dave, thank you so much for coming on to the Soulish podcast. We are so excited to have you here. I know that you're known as Davie Shine, and you're an inspirational speaker. And I just love your content. I love your Instagram. I love your energy. Just everything about you is so bright. And so when you reached out, I was like, hell yes. Of course you're coming on the podcast. It's not even a question. And we just got to talking too. And it was so good to hear your story and to get your perspective on life. And so I definitely am so excited to bring you into the Soulish community and to share your light with them, because it's something that we need right now. We need some inspo. And so you literally exude inspo.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That's right.
So thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. I wanted to first start with your journey of like what led you to be so all about freedom and liberation and bringing your light and to the world, to yourself, and then obviously shining out. What led you to like this work and pursuing this full time?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for having me on the podcast, Whitney. I'm excited about it. I know we're about to have a really good time. You know, the vibes are right. The vibes are right. So it's good times. So what led me here is that I went through a state of kind of depression, really. I went through a state of depression, and it was about like 6 months of being in depression. And through that depression, I kind of did different things that kind of, I want to say, perpetuated the way that I felt. And I just didn't feel really good about myself. Like, life wasn't good. It didn't seem like anything was working out. And I just went on a search. I was like, like what's really going on with me? Like, why do I feel like this? Like, why do I feel like shit? Like, why do I not like myself and things like that? And that's where it started at. That's just a short story. But so basically in 2016, so growing up, like I grew up in, like people are doing the best they can with their level of consciousness. So, just in that type of like paradigm of thinking, like limited beliefs, like there's no type of compassion or self-love and stuff like that. It's really just about like, just surface level, like this is who you are, this is what you should do type thing. And so growing up, I wasn't the smartest kid. I wasn't really good in sports. And I wanted to try to fit into that mode of being a young Black man to play sports and stuff like that. And it just didn't work out. I just wasn't good at it. I tried my best, but I wasn't good at it. It was horrible. Like what year was this? So my 10th grade year, I tried out for basketball. I didn't make the team. And I was like, okay, next year I'm going to try to make the team. And so I didn't have to try out because I got into the basketball period before you had tryouts. So I cheated. I was like, I know I'm not good, so I'll just get in the period. And so the moral of the story is that even though like I played and I worked hard, I still was lacking confidence, and I didn't have a good self-image. And so every time I went to go do something, I just froze up and it just didn't work out. Yeah. But growing up that way, like I was the first to go to college in my family and things like that. I went to a trade school, TSTC, and growing up, I was really good with my hands. So I was like, I know what I should do. I should go to school to be a mechanic, and there's nothing wrong with being a mechanic, but that's how far I can think. I was like, I'm gonna just go be a mechanic and I'll just work for the rest of my life, and that'll be absolutely fine. After college, I went to a dealership and I worked at a dealership for 2 years. And at the dealership, I noticed something. I was like, whoa, this is not for me. Like, I don't like doing this. I don't like going to work, you know what I mean? Like Monday through Friday, and then excited for the weekend. Actually, I get up at 5 o'clock. I'm super goddamn drained. I just want to go home, take a shower, and smoke weed. Like that was my routine right there. And I'm like 20. I'm 20 years
this is
old.
life.
I'm like, why do I feel like this? Yeah, exactly.
This is life, like, and it's not even started yet.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, this shit is not right. And it was cool because my family's like, damn, you got you a new car, you got you a lot of cool shit going on. I'm like, but I feel like shit, this is not for me. So super blessed that I ran into a business mentor. He was in the network marketing arena. And I ran into him, and like he turned me on to like personal development, self-help, Think and Grow Rich, books like that, How to Win Friends and Influence People. So I really immersed myself in that personal development type thing. Like, I'm about to get successful, I'm about to get rich, I'm about to freaking do all this stuff. But it was cool, but because before I actually met him, I saw literally the same exact day I saw a video on YouTube of Eric Thomas, which is a hip hop preacher, and he has a lot of motivational videos on YouTube. And this was, yet again, this was before I was awake to anything of spirituality, anything, but it touched me when I saw his video. And I was like, whoa, like this dude has some energy. And I was like, I wanna inspire people. I wanna help people. I wanna motivate people. In 2016, I knew that's what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to help other people out. But I went on a different journey. I went on a different track. It's like I woke up to that, but I was like, well, that can wait because I need to get rich right now. And then I'll go back to kind of wanting to do that type of thing. So from there, I got into business. I started selling life insurance. I freaking started working at a furniture store. Everything. And I was just doing it to get money though. And I was trying to get,
Yeah.
so it led to this state of basically I was chasing money. Then I went into a state of depression. I lost my apartment. I lost my car. I was being homeless and things like that. And on the other side of that, that's when I really started to search for answers.
You just went through that like it was like, oh, and this, and then this, and then this, and then this. Hold on. I'm sorry. Can we revisit this? You literally became homeless. You lost everything.
Yeah, I did. And
that is insane. That is so hard. You just skipped over that. Like that was like, oh yeah.
It's so funny because so like, I know. Wait a minute, that's an important part of the story. It is an important part of the story, and it is. And so what happened there, and I don't know, I do oftentimes do that. Like this all happened, and then I ended up here. But it's like, that is and so what I like, those are, I mean, they're dark times, and this is the overcoming that, people, this is like really what relates to people and things like that. And I'm saying that like I'm telling the story differently now because like of how I see it now. But yeah, it was straight like that. Like I literally basically I quit my job at the furniture store, which was a full-time income, and I was like, I'm about to be a full-time entrepreneur, but I really wasn't ready for that yet. I had no savings or nothing like that, but I was like, okay, I'm about to get rich. I got a backpack and a dream. And being
I got a backpack and a dream. Can we hashtag that?
That type of thing.
But and that's I was like,
I'm gonna do it.
That's inspo. Like, I got a backpack and a dream. I'm gonna make it happen. That's like every entrepreneur has basically said that, just not in those words, but like everyone like is like, I'm just gonna jump. I'm literally just gonna jump off. And that's what you did.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And it's so cool because like oftentimes I tell a story and it's like, it wasn't like, the things that happened after that were a negative thing, but it was really just like lessons and growth and expansion. And
just
it
got hard me to this
place. Yeah, the hard way. And it got me to this place where I was like, holy shit, I don't want to struggle. I don't want to do all that shit anymore. It's not that is, I would say that it's not necessary for what I'm going for now and things like that. And so like after the period of being homeless, sleeping in a car and things like that, I literally was at an airport and I literally had $300 in my bank account, and the option was get another rental car and continue living in a car, or go back to Texas where my family was, because I was in Raleigh, North Carolina at the time. And literally that still small voice, the voice of God said, Dave, go back to Texas and go sleep on your grandmother's sofa. That was the option.
And eat her food, which is going to be damn good.
Tell me about it. I literally gained I gained some weight. It was really cool.
I bet you ate like everything, because being homeless on the street, hunger. And I bet you were like, I'm literally going to fill myself. I'm going to live the American dream right now and eat my grandma's food.
Like she literally made the best yams ever, like the best sweet potatoes. Like
I want to come. I'm going to invite myself over at this point. I can't even imagine how good it is.
Yeah, it was amazing. And so and that's what happened. But that was the rebuilding and start. That was when I really started to, like I said, look in a different direction. I started taking in all types of spiritual material and looking for real answers. Like, okay, I see the answers are not going to me trying. The answers that I'm looking for are not going to come from me trying to be successful or making a lot of money. There's something more that I wanted, and that was that kind of self-love journey that started. And then we just started to shine, and I wanted to inspire others because I felt like shit, and I was like, we don't have to live like that. We don't have to feel repressed. We don't
Mhm.
have to feel like shit. We don't have to go after this dream that somebody else has made for us. We can actually just kind of express our authenticity, express what's on your heart. And that's actually feels better. I don't care where I get actually, but I just want to be me.
That is actually living the American dream.
Yeah.
And we've missed that. That's what the dream is. The dream is discovering who you are, your purpose, why you incarnated in this time, in this body, in this place, within that family, um, and literally just pursuing that. And that is living the dream. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what you have, it's who you are, right?
That's it. That's it. That's it. And what I've seen recently is so I'm kind of in like the where I'm coaching people and things like that, and sometimes we can get so caught up in our head about like what am I offering and things like that, like how can I help them get results and all these things. And just a couple of days ago I had to step back and I was like, bro, it's actually not about that. It's actually just about the energy, bro. It's about the energy that you exude and that you're able to give this certainty and this feeling of like okayness and comfort. And that's it. It's like we came here with something. We came here with a beautiful gift, and it's the only thing. I mean, just express it, open it up, and allow and share it with others. And so that's what Shine is about.
I love it because, there's plenty of people who can play basketball, but not very many people can lift other people up, much less them their own selves. So I think that that's like a true gift and a talent that you have for sure. And I think that's why, like, perhaps you're good with your hands because you're good at lifting people up.
Let's go.
You're good at grabbing them on the
Literally.
shoulders and lifting them up, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is. And it's like I see it was crazy. So I was talking to someone the other day and he said, how can you help people when you can't help people? And it seemed like a very kind of like a cynical type of term, but what he was meaning is like, you know, like the person or the individual has to kind of have to realize something within themselves, because you can keep giving the helping hand, but they have to realize something within themselves. And so that's why I like to say that I'm an inspirational speaker, because um I don't feel like I don't want to motivate people to do anything. Like there's nothing that you actually should do, but I want to inspire something within you so that you can have this inner light and this inner guidance that's actually going to guide your way so that you can be able to navigate. You don't need to be motivated. Something else is actually going to pull you. And I feel like that it really is the work that we're here to do, really.
Because it's not about doing, it's about being, right? And it's not about having in order to be or doing in order to be, but it's literally not looking outside of yourself any longer for your solution. Your solution's already in you, right? And so that's a gift, to turn that on in people, to shine the light so that people can see what's already in them. I think that's really rare. Not everybody can authentically do that without coercing, but just shining a light. And so that's not easy. For you in your journey of becoming even not just an inspirational speaker, but also a coach and probably even a mentor in some cases, right? I understand you mentor people as well, through whether it's softly through social media or working with you one-on-one. And what is kind of a trend that you see that stops people from seeing that they need to acknowledge what's already within them? What are some things that are like pitfalls or blocks or hindrances that you see?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things, so quick story. So this is literally what kind of flipped the switch for me, is that I noticed I was one day I was in the gym. This is literally when I was sleeping on my grandmother's sofa. I was in a gym trying to run away from my thoughts, everything that was going on, everything that I was thinking about myself. And I was listening to this YouTube audio at the same time. And the audio said that you are worthy and you don't have to do anything to be worthy. That
Mm.
changes everything, because like the whole journey of me being homeless and everything that I was doing before that time, I was trying to prove my worthiness and validate my worthiness and things like that. So I was really like doing all this. I didn't know I was actually doing it until I woke up to like, oh, I'm trying to do this because I think it'll make me different or something like that. And so I want to say that's kind of the same thing. It's like this idea that yet again, we all have areas where we kind of quote unquote want to improve, but I see it's a part of the human conditioning of kind of like this idea of like I'm small, lowly, unworthy, and things like that. It's like,
Mhm.
so the biggest pitfall is that I feel like a lot of people think that they're alone and that they're actually not supported by something. Like it just seems like I'm just a lonely human being and there's nothing looking out for me. That's the biggest pitfall. And it's like there is no hope because there's nothing looking out for me. And that's what, like, that fine line, that thread of God of love is running through all of us. And when we kind of recognize that more, we'll start to see that it's like, oh, there is actually
Yep.
something within me. There is something that actually kind of loves me. And it actually starts with you, though. That's the craziest thing. It's like your recognition of who you are and things like that, instead of kind of the dream of like what people have told you to be and what you should be. There's actually something to you. There's a light within you. There's love within you. And so, yeah, I don't even know if I answered the question of the pitfall, but it's like I just think that it's just like we just kind of don't know where we fit in, and it's like there's no place to fit in. It's just you just shining.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
It's that isolation factor of I'm alone and I'm not supported. That is a huge pitfall. I agree with that. Because I know,
Hmm.
like, when I've struggled personally, it's always been around worthiness and value.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that's a huge
Yeah.
one. What are some ways that you help, your clients, people that you mentor? What are some ways that you help them, to recognize their value, to see it? How do you help people with that?
Yeah. So one of the things is like it's crazy because I love I love the self-inquiry work. Like I feel like that's some of the most powerful work that you can do. And so I have a kind of different way of going about it. But it really is kind of like it's having a conversation like soul to soul. So it's actually like there is no tricks or techniques. Like there is no tricks or techniques, but it's like it's me coming from this space of knowing the true nature of who I am. And it's like being able to communicate with that person from that space. And there's something about when two souls can really connect with each other and we fall about the person falls out of their conditioned thinking of I'm broken, I'm not worthy, because it's just that's just all that's a ticker tape of the mind. It's just like the conditioning and the repetitious thoughts of the mind. And
Mhm,
so it's like,
mhm.
and oftentimes in the personal development arena, it's like we're trying to fix that. We're trying to fix the part that's broken, but it's like there's an aspect of you that was never broken, but we just keep identifying with that. And so if I keep trying to help you fix this problem, then we're not going anywhere because we're still talking about a problem that's just created by your conditioned thinking and the program thinking. So the answer to that is like wake their ass up to who they really are. Like that's the only way to do it. Like you're not the bullshit story. You're literally not your mind. You're not the imaginary stories that you make up of yourself. It's like there has to be a separation. That's it. It's like, but when somebody is able to separate from that perpetual mind story of who they are, that's when they kind of like things get better because now they're looking in the direction of, okay, who am I really? And once you feel who you are really, you see everything that you're not really. And that changes everything.
Mhm. Instead of focusing on what you're not, focus on who you are, and that will eliminate everything you're not automatically, is basically
That's
what you
it.
just said.
Exactly. So I want
It's
to tell you a
awesome.
funny story. I was watching a video one night, and it was kind of like it was around like a spiritual, like it was kind of about the self inquiry thing, and it was funny because I was sitting here in my chair, and I was like, I'm not Dave. And I just like busted out laughing. It was funny because it really was a visceral feeling of like just being blissed out because I noticed it's like, wow, like how many stories are like every title has a story. Every
Yep.
title has a story. Like so
Yep.
every label that I put on myself, there's probably going to be a story with that. But it's like I don't want to try to fix every like I'm not trying to go through there and fix every story, but it's like, bro, what if you just drop that label, then the story falls away as well?
Mhm.
And and
Isn't
that's
that
just kind of
nuts?
yeah, that's it.
It's literally narratives because I think ego wants to identify all the time. So, and then every story has an identity attached to it that then you become, and that can weigh on you after years of that. Like people that have like 20, 30 different identities that they accumulate over 20, 30 years. I mean, I'm 34, so it's like I have technically 34 years of all these identities, from pastor's daughter to Christian to spiritual person to
Yeah.
leader to, just Winene is like one of my nicknames. And then Wit and Witster, and I think there's Ms. Wit out there somewhere. It's so embarrassing. Whataburger instead of Whataburger from Texas. When I went to school in Texas, they were like, Whataburger. And I was like, stop, please.
Like,
don't
wait a
make
minute,
that
who are
thing.
these guys? Like, I've known so many people that are named Whitney, but we never called her Whitney, bro. Like, that's so funny.
Nope.
Right there.
We get the wit. And I'm fine with that, it's okay. But it's just so funny, right? Because we have so many identities and so many narratives and so many stories. And not only that, they all feel so real and so like worthy of our attention, worthy of our energy, worthy of our effort to keep them alive, and also future narratives, not just like past and present, but like future of like what your future is going to look like. Like, I'm never going to find my person. That's like everyone's that's single. And, I'm never going to have, I'm never going to have success. I'm never going to not have to worry about money. I'm never going to not live paycheck to paycheck and then welfare, or like dig into my savings every month just to get through rent and try to build up savings, right? Like we always have a narrative, whether it's past, present, and future. And so to that process of letting go and realizing you are just this body, you are just this individual human being for like the next 80 to hopefully 90 years, but you have been a soul for who knows how long, right? And how many lifetimes, how many lifetimes, human or other creatures have you been, and yet your soul has remained the same through the whole time. So why do you feel like you need to identify with what this life is saying you are? Like, you are so much more. You're divine. Like, you're a divine soul being that is just enjoying and experiencing life right now, learning lessons, growing, awakening, developing, expanding, right? And so I think it's so powerful, Dave, that it's like you had that aha moment. You had an Oprah moment. I love Oprah moments where you're like, oh my God, I'm not Dave, like I am not this body. I am not this person. And that's totally like A Course in Miracles, right? Of not identifying with the body, with this world, with this life, because this is temporary. This falls away. As soon as you pass from this existence to your actual existence, which I think that's what you mean by the two souls, right? It's like, it's this person, but it's who you actually are, is what you're wanting to connect people with. And that is such a process. It's a process of letting go. It's a process of shedding, of not identifying and grabbing onto every narrative, every label, every story. And that's so hard because we're taught to label. What do you want to be when you grow up? We ask every kid that. What do you want to be when you grow up? And it changes every time you ask them, because they are so not identified to anything unless they really have a strong inclination to being like a firefighter or something. They want to save people, be Superman,
It's really funny. It's like, it was funny for me, like for me to say that, like, so through that period, like I got to the point where I was like, well, fuck, I don't really want no labels. Like, do I have to say that I'm an inspirational speaker? Do I have to say I'm a coach? Do I have to, like, just that funny thing? But it's like, but I mean, because it is beneficial. That's how we navigate through this earth plane. It's like, that's what we kind of got to do. But it's like that thing. And like, I felt that I was like, am I just a unicorn? Because I don't feel like I need all these damn labels. I just want to show up and just do all this. You know what I mean?
I'm not even Dave. I'm this. This is me.
Yeah, I'm this. Yeah, this is presence right here. You just see this guy right here, and that's all. That's what you get. That's what you get. And what you said though about the soul is like the soul has been through many lifetimes, but and what I love to do is like point people to that. Not only you don't have to use the word soul, but like there is a immense amount of well-being that we can still experience right now that is lying within the soul, because the soul is just pure love, pure well-being, and pure light. And it's like
Mhm.
when somebody can get to that point, like they'll see that like everything else is kind of what is kind of just regurgitated, perpetuated from our past thoughts, past conditionings. But it's like, but underneath that, underneath all of that shit, there is this well-being that you really are, and that's going to continue to forever be well-being. But we don't really get to experience that because we're so caught up in everything else. But below that, there is something that will to set you free. And you're not
Yeah.
going to walk around you're not going to walk around in your soul and well-being all the time. This don't mean that you're not going to get mad, angry, sad, frustrated, pissed off. That don't mean any of that, but it's just still a recognition that, oh, this is a temporary experience. I'm experiencing this right now. And it will pass. And so when I was in the state of depression, like I thought that it was real. I thought this was going to forever be my life. I thought that all of that shit. And until I was able to, just separate from that just for a moment, then I was able to see like, oh, this is just a temporary experience that I'm going through. And the more that I actually beat myself up over it and wallow in it and complain why it's so bad, it's like I'm just perpetuating it because I think it's going to be forever. And so that's it. It's a crazy ass journey to be on planet Earth, but hey, we're doing the best we can.
We're succeeding. We don't maybe
Yes,
feel like it sometimes, but we're always succeeding.
exactly.
Yeah, I think that it's so good what you're saying, because I think the fabric of the universe, right? Fabric of God, source, spirit, whoever you identify with, um, is is love. It is truth. Like that is a constant no matter what, so
Right.
it's aligning yourself with truth and always realigning. And I always give any of my clients the picture analogy of plane, because even before computers, but even still with computers, planes, because of the wind gust or whatever, they can veer off of their flight path. And so basically I had to do that. I don't know why, I just did. I
That
had
was
to do
good.
that. I've always wanted those things, like, and just like direct
I'm
people.
gonna send this over to Noah. I got you.
I've always been like, that's a cool job. Like I would so do that. And
That's
I
a
would
soul
dance.
calling
Like I would
right
be
there.
like the person dancing, dude. Like wanna, so fun. Anyway.
It is.
So we planes will veer off of their flight path all the time, and we don't know it being passengers, but the computer and back in the day the person would then redirect it back to the flight path, because just a little bit of a turn can take you from New Mexico to to Maine, Rhode Island, if
Yeah.
you wanted. So it's like just a little difference can change your direction. So I think a lot of times if we can just see it as not a shame, or like a criticism, if we cannot be so judgmental about the fact that we are journeying through life in the same way. And so as we are realizing that we're out of alignment, or we realize there's something that's more aligned with what we want to be, what we want to embody, what we want to manifest in our life, then that helps us to redirect. And we can't see it as a criticism, even past decisions. Like you really wanting to be an entrepreneur. Well, there was something on fire inside of you that said, I want more. So what about that was wrong? That's what took you through your process. Like you needed that. That was part of your journey. That's part of why you came here and what you came to experience, and experience it in this body and this guy, called Dave. And like that was super important. And so
Yeah.
for you then to experience homelessness and to experience what it is to lack, to truly lack, and to truly hunger for something, I guarantee you, like even years from now, Dave, you're going to look back on that and realize that it was more than just physical hunger that you developed,
Mm,
right? You developed a hunger for more than just food. You developed a hunger to see yourself come into a new space, right? And to go where no one's willing to go in order to shine the light. And so you've experienced darkness, you've experienced depression, you're acquainted with it, you know the thoughts, you felt the feelings, right? You can now empathize and relate with people. And I love this quote that my dad always used to say, that whatever you've experienced, you now have authority in that. Whatever you've healed, you now
Mm,
have authority to heal that in other people. And that's always been something for me, because I struggled with suicide. I attempted suicide 3 times in my life. I was severely depressed. I went to a doctor. He couldn't even graft me. I was ungraphable. He was like, if
damn.
I, yeah, it was like really bad. And I like didn't even want to get in a car, because I knew I'd either like open the door and want to fly out or something. I was just like not in a good place at all. Very hopeless, very hopeless.
Hmm.
I know what
Yeah.
hopelessness feels like.
Yeah.
So when you realize, okay, and then I've healed that, like that's something that I now not only have authority in my own life, but now I have authority to help other people, to bring them out and pull them out of their place of hopelessness, depression, darkness, lack, whatever it is, limitation, victim mentality of everything is happening to me, brokenness, right? You now have all of that authority within you. And so I think it's really divine, like the experiences that you've had and then what you're doing to help people overcome that. And we need you. We need people like you. So thank you.
Thank you. Oh my God. I'm about to get my head is about to turn into the sun. And I'm about to really just run out here and shine.
You feel boosted.
Yeah, like
You feel
no,
boosted.
let's go. Let's go. No, that's no, damn, we're right here together. That's so cool though. You know what I mean? Because like that is just like really one of the coolest things. And I'm like, wow, to be able to just, be on this path and then, connect with other people and reciprocate this energy and be moving in the same direction and wanting to kind of advocate the truth of like there is this fine line of love that runs through all of us, and that's who we really are. And this don't mean that, yet I love how you say that as well. It's like this body chose to go through these experiences. I chose all of these things just so I could be at this place now, maybe having this conversation with you, because we don't even know if none of that wouldn't happen. Who would even knew? And
Yeah.
and it's so funny because I've been really on like you really about the surrender, because like goddamn, this right now moment, like this is the now moment that we have. This is the only one that we have, and this is the most powerful one that we have. And it's like I can go so many places. I can have my certainty of the future, or I can have my regurgitation of the past. But it's like that's actually not real. This now moment is so powerful. And when I can actually settle into this and actually be present with somebody, I never know what will happen. And I like to say that's when like wisdom can only happen right now. People talk about channeling and stuff like that. That can only happen right now in this moment. It can't happen if I'm thinking about what I'm going to say, or it can't happen if I'm thinking about what I said just a while ago. So it's like all the good shit happens right now. And it's available to us right now. Like literally, like it's crazy because like the moment I remember this so vividly. This was the craziest moment ever. So when you said about being hopeless when I was depressed, like literally, so it's like I'm Dave Shine now, and I'm shining light. But when I was in that depressed state, literally, as soon as the sun came up, I would jump out of my bed and I would go run into my closet and sleep in the dark closet for 3 hours a day, because I did not want to see the sun come up, because it just made, oh, here I go. Oh, I got to experience this another day of my thoughts messing me up and me being ashamed of the way that I live, me feeling bad about myself. How about I just go to sleep? When I'm asleep, I don't got to think about this. I don't have to be bothered by this. But one day I was laying in the closet, and okay, I was like, I don't know why I'm telling this story, but I remember now that one day I was laying in the closet and I had my phone with me, and a notification went off on my phone, and it said $200 got deposited into my bank account. And I jumped up and I was like, okay, it's time for me to go do stuff. And then I stopped. I was like, what just happened? How did a notification and then a number on my phone change my whole state of being? Like, how did this number, this money change my whole state of being? And I literally didn't know what happened, but I was like, that don't make sense. Why is something outside of me controlling this whole mechanism, my whole feeling, the whole way I see the world, like deciding if I'm going to go out into the world or not? Like, how is a number on my phone literally making me do this? And that was when I kind of realized how powerful, like, I mean, our thought process is and what we think about ourselves and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
the point that I'm getting to is that literally somebody can be in a depressed state right now, and they can literally in the flip of a switch have that moment where they kind of feel this love. And I experienced that. That was in a way where I saw it totally different. But what I saw was that like even though I was depressed, I still had some energy inside of me. I still had life within me. I still had something within me that could change everything. And that circumstance, it was a very weird circumstance, but it's like I don't care if you're broken, depressed, sad, angry, like the most traumatic things. It's like when we kind of wake up to who we really are, it's not going to fix all of that, but you literally will feel different and you're going to see everything differently.
Mm-hmm. That's so powerful. That's so powerful because the mind is so powerful and we don't
Mhm.
realize how easy it is to switch. You reminded me, like, as you were talking, of my trips to the Philippines and Jamaica. And those two trips changed me, not because of seeing the level of poverty or going somewhere new where you've never been before, meeting these people. It was the fact that they had, I mean, extremely less than what I grew up with. That one, I realized how privileged I was, even though I was middle to low class income wise, just because my parents were in ministry. My dad had a major car accident, so we didn't have money for many years. Um, and my mom was working, but it just wasn't enough. And but I realized that these people were not at all depressed. They were not at all bothered. To them, this was a normal day, digging through the trash to find something not only to eat, but then to sell so that you can eat. And to see that. And I remember in Jamaica, it was actually the best because this guy walked by the beach and I'm laying out, I'm enjoying the sun, enjoying Jamaica. It's beautiful, beautiful country. And this guy with these shorts like just walks by and he's holding a lobster and he's like, "Hey, fresh lobster, like, you want some?" So like over in Jamaica, if you do like thumbs up, like that's a really positive, like it means respect. And so even though I'm not going to buy his lobster, because I have nowhere to cook it. And I still, I just put my thumbs up and he just got so excited that I even knew that and knew that that was like a cultural thing. So he's like, "Oh yes, miss, that's right, respect, respect." He was so excited. I was like, "Yay, like I did something right." Like I just felt like, I feel like so applauded. But it just hit me as I see him walking down. He actually did start singing the "Don't Worry, Be Happy" song, which was like very like, if I could get my camera out right now, like nobody would believe me that this
Wow.
guy is singing "Don't Worry, Be Happy," because every little thing, is gonna be
Be
all
all
right.
right.
And it just hit me like I had that aha moment of, here I am. I can, I don't know how I afforded to come here. It was like $800 on travelzoo.com. That's how I flew there. But I was desperate for a vacation. The Lord provided. And it just hit me like I literally carry so much worry over every little thing. And I'm thinking and coming from the perspective that it's not going to be okay. That's not going to work out. And I had just gone through like a really traumatic breakup with someone that I found out was like a sex addict and like all this stuff, and had two different lives and two different names. And so I needed a break. I needed to get away, and like it made me realize like something that I thought was going to be my future is not my future, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be okay. And I think like a lot of times we think that with work, with family, with even friendships, relationships, life in general, like the meaning of life, we really struggle to believe that every little thing, every little thing. And I think that's like, Dave, that's like literally your message in a bottle, like wrapped up in a bow and a present. It's about to be Christmas soon, here in a couple months, is every little thing is going to be all right. So don't worry, shine your light, like in that way, like realize that every little thing, not just the big things, because we always ask about the big things, but every little thing is going to be all right. It's going to work out.
Yes, Whitney. Yes. No, that's it. That's really it. Man, that's what touched me, because it's just like those type of people and those experiences. Like, God damn, like life can really be good. Like it really can be all right. It can be okay. Like, and so it's funny because when I after my experience, I used to write this affirmation all goddamn time. Like things are working out. Things working out. That was my go-to affirmation. And it's kind of one of those things that just flows through my body now, because I do know things are going to be all right. And I'm not saying that the appearances might look fucked up. It might be very shitty. The appearances, a lot of things look very bad. But like on the individual level, when we can actually step into that well-being and it's going to be all right, I know that people will start to be different in the world when they know that it's actually all right. Like the individual level. Because so like, I mean, like the biggest shit in the world, I feel like it just comes from control. It comes from worry. It comes from fear. They don't think it's going to be all right. So you have to do things to do this because you don't think it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's so annoying that we're talking about like the essence of who we really are. It's well-being. It's good. It's all right. And when we can experience that more, it's like this was a big thing. I was like, God damn, like, like there is shit in the world that like really kind of needs to be tended to, you know what I mean? But it's like, I'm not going to be able to tend to that if I'm not all right where I'm at. So I can't really stress myself out too bad. I can't worry about it too much. I can't get myself all jumbled up in that, because if I get jumbled up in that, I'm not going to be able to do the work that I'm here to do, because that's just how I feel. It's not even like I've thought through this, but it's like I just feel that like this is the work that I'm supposed to do, and that will take care of a lot more shit rather than me trying to manipulate and change and control a lot of shit.
So true. I literally just got a picture, and I think it's more around like a word of encouragement, but I think I think oftentimes we have chaos swirling around us like a tornado. And instead of staying and positioning in well-being, which is in the middle of all of that, it's in the center where there is peace, where there is actually stillness all around you, right? But yet you can see everything swirling around you. We choose a lot of times to step into the chaos and to try to control it, right? Grab a hold of things, right? We're trying to stop the wind, right? And we're doing everything we can to get it to stop, instead of just repositioning ourselves in that state of well-being, which is knowing who you are and why you're here. And you don't have to be disrupted or disturbed by everything that's swirling around you, right? That's such a great mental picture to remind ourselves that peace is stillness. It literally is. Well-being is peace. Peace is stillness. When we realize who we are, we center ourselves into that place of well-being. That is how we literally are not affected by anything happening, because this is temporary. What's happening, it can lift at any moment, right? And then it just dissipates. It just disappears like nothing happened, right? It never existed. So why are we stepping into the chaos, instead of remaining where we are in the center of our well-being, of peace, and trust that like this may look really bad right now, but when it lifts, you're going to see where you are. It's going to be like a Dorothy and Toto moment where you're like, we're not in Kansas anymore.
We're
someplace different.
I like that. I want to say that's probably that's a beautiful analogy.
You can have that.
Thank you.
You can take that.
She's giving away gifts. Here, one for you. You get a card. There you go. I see you. But what I want to say is that like it's so funny because like this goes all the way to the individual level and it expands all the way out. So for example, like the stillness and well-being, your mind can be running like goddamn crazy. It can be telling you all the stories, all the dreams, all the worst shit in the world. But it's like if you kind of been in that still place, that you'll see that the mind just thinks, and that's what it does. But it's like you can still be the stillness behind it, and you can be the awareness behind it. And when you're able to do that, you will just know that it's all right, and you just know this is gonna go crazy because it always does, but you're all right. And I love that analogy because it's like if we stay in the middle, and if we stay stable, then we can actually reach in and grab somebody else and pull them in. We can reach somebody else because they're going to be running around, but we can reach in and grab them when we're coming from the stillness and the well-being. We can, like, that's it right there. I think that's really good. Like, let's go. I think that's really cool right there, because it's like we can, if we're all swirling around with everybody else, but it's like somebody has to be still and stable and sturdy. I've been saying this like lately, a stable beacon of light. That's what I aspire to be, a stable beacon of light, stable beacon of light, a lighthouse. And I don't want to just be the only one. I want to inspire others to be a stable beacon of light in their own life. And then when they do it in their own life, they walk around in this place of, I don't got my life figured out. I don't got everything figured out, but I'm okay. And I can, like you say, uplift somebody else, and I can be an authority in my life experience. And I think that's the best thing that we can do.
Because we can't allow experiences or circumstances to define who we are, define our worth, define our value, define whether or not we're going to make it, predetermine the future. We can allow it to happen, and oftentimes we do, and then we reap the consequences of that. We experience it because we manifest, we always manifest. We never not manifest. People every moment people think they manifest things like, here's one, here's two, here's three, but you're constantly manifesting. You're constantly pulling things in by your intention and your energy.
There's no future to manifest anything in. You got that shit right now. Like, what you gotta do?
And so I think that's so powerful, that becoming that, embodying that, stepping into that place in your own life. Where do you need peace? Where do you need to step out of the chaos and into who you are? And a lot of times that doesn't make sense. It makes sense that you get all involved. It makes sense that you ruminate and that you have emotional loops and negative thought patterns and negative core beliefs, and you're all wrapped up in what isn't and what will never be, right? Sometimes that feels really valid, to step into the chaos and to be affected by it. But the most powerful place you can be is in the center of it all, and realize that it's all like A Course in Miracles as well. I guess I'm just going to keep quoting A Course in Miracles, is that, hey, it's good stuff. Good shit.
Yes, I've listened to some of the audio, on YouTube and stuff like that. I haven't officially read the book yet, but it's powerful. It's like, it's true. Like, that's it. Like, when you hear truth, it resonates with you. And so, but like, there's nothing else to kind of like, there's nothing else about it though. So what I want to, I just want to say this real quick. When you're talking about the experiences, like, don't let the experiences and the things really knock you out of the water. So like this morning, I wasn't having my morning wasn't great. So me and my girlfriend, we had some, not even arguing, but we just had some things that we were kind of working out together. And, it made me feel some way. Like, I was sad about it, like all these things. It's like I experience emotions like we all do. Like, there's nobody, nobody's super goddamn human, but it's like, there is something to it that it's like these experiences will come and go, and it's not that I have something to do, but it's like the beingness that I'm coming from. I can still show up here and just have a good ass time and shine, because the sun is always out. Even though when we have clouds of thought, clouds of emotion, the sun is always out. You just got to find it. And so that's what we do.
That's what we do. I love A Course in Miracles. I actually didn't even read it for like months, even though I had the book, because I was it really hit me so hard, and it hit me every time I read. It's not even like the first chapter. It's like, I don't know what you would call it, the opening statement, but it's one single page, and it literally says, herein lies the peace of God, that nothing that is unreal exists, and nothing that is real can be threatened. It was like, I was like, I'm sorry. I need to read that again. That nothing that is unreal exists, and nothing that is real can be threatened. Herein lies the peace of God. And I just was like, okay, and that's it. We're done. Like, I don't even need to read the rest of the book. That just changed my life. Because that's exactly what it is that we think that everything that is real and tangible, like love, truth, right? Our soul, our well-being can be, our peace can be threatened, that something can take it away, right? Everything that we have, that we hold dear, that is precious to us, can be threatened, can be taken away. But the truth is that it can't be threatened. And that anything that is unreal, right? Anything that is something that's just an illusion, it's just something that is appearing before you, but it doesn't actually mean that it's real. And there's actually technology, Dave, out there that it's holographic, but you don't know that it's a hologram until you actually are right up in front of it. And they actually have that technology where they can project things from satellites and they can actually make it appear real. And you wouldn't know because it has shadow, it has everything that you would literally think this is real. This is a real car driving. But the second that you get up to it and you actually like put your hand through it and you try to feel it, it's not real. It's an illusion. So I love that this is actually physically happening, and that nothing that is unreal actually exists, and nothing that is real can be threatened. And so we may get really hung up on all the illusions, all the narratives, those are illusions, all the stories, all the identities, right? Those are all illusions that are actually not really real. They fall away as soon as you pass away. You're no longer that. You're no longer your stories. You're no longer these narratives. You're no longer your money, right? Your riches, what you have, my apartment, your home, right? Your room, your car, like you're no longer those things. Those things don't exist anymore. They go on to somebody else and they sit they sit somewhere else, like you leave it all behind. So who are you really? And that's like the most beautiful message that you have is who are you? I love that. Like Alice in Wonderland, doesn't he do that as he blows smoke in her face? He's like, who are you? And it's like the best, that question always resonated with me. Even as a kid, I was like, who am I? Who is this girl that's named as Whitney? Like, who is she? And who's Dave? And I think that's so good to realize we're more than just a name. We're more than just a body. We're more than just what we have, that there's a well-being within us. And I love that well, and then being as being a separate divine being, well-being, right? Love being, truth being, light being, whatever we are, we're being. So good.
Wow, so good. Yes. Amen.
Amen.
Love that, like that's it. Like, well, I want to add this on there, and it's because this is like an and. It's like I heard this analogy. This is beautiful. So it's imagine like there's just like you're standing there, and then they put these sticky notes on you. We put the sticky note of Whitney with the sticky note of she has blue eyes. We put the sticky note of whatever other sticky notes. She's a mother. She's a daughter. All those sticky notes, and it's like one day like those, they're just sticky notes, and like we can they're interchangeable because Whitney used to be 3 years old and now she's 34. You know what I mean? Like they're just interchangeable. So it's like we see that those are not actually tangible real things. They're just like just the labels that we put on. And the question of who are you is like, okay, when all those goddamn sticky notes fall away, now what is there? Now what is there when the sticky notes fall away? And that's like, isn't that the most profound thing that we can do on this planet is help people remember who they are? Isn't that the only thing that we actually can do? Because it's like once they figure that out, all other shit becomes obsolete to a certain degree. It's like, okay, well, that's not me. I'm not my car. I'm not my job. I'm not the label that they gave me. I'm not any of that. So I'm gonna just chill out and just watch the game.
Exactly. I'm just gonna enjoy life and realize that there's more to it than what it seems. There's more.
Yeah, exactly.
So good.
Exactly.
So good. Dave, thank you so much for your time. This has been amazing and so inspirational. Thank you for bringing us some inspo.
Yes.
For being the inspo. Thank you so much. This was wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me here. And I'm just happy to always just reciprocate this beautiful energy that we can have together when two beautiful soul beings come together and just live, be.
So good.